Good day, YouTube Nation. This is Zeph and I am on my Druidic character. She's inspired from World of Warcraft. And today we're going to be looking at the werewolf mods that are available on the Nexus. The first one that we're going to look over is Werewolf Mastery by Sir Rowland. This and Moonlight Tells are definitive for anybody wanting to play a werewolf with Skyrim. Now, with Werewolf Mastery, what first attracted me to it was that it allowed my werewolf aspect to scale with my levels. So now this ring here, you are able to craft it from any forge, or you could do the Hercene quest, which you would need for some aspects of Moonlight Tells. We will go over that when we get to the Moonlight Tells section, but for Werewolf Mastery, in order to make changes, you have to craft it and then you use it as a power. And the first section, we can determine what type of boost we have as a werewolf. For myself, I want for like standard scaling with level. Magic resistance, again, I'm going standard. Just note that even this is a significant change from vanilla. Health and stamina. I have select health regeneration right now. This is something that I do periodically change, and I would recommend starting with normal and going to high if necessary, because I typically do not change in the middle of combat. Because at this level as a werewolf, in all honesty, my druid form is more powerful. However, that being said, let me go over and see if I can, you shoot a vehicle, then creatures just show up and they just want to die. But I'm kind of proud of myself because I killed my first dragon in werewolf form with this character earlier. That was actually the first take of the video. However, now that I'm looking for it, I don't know where the dragon bones are at. Alright, so let me just go right back to let's look at beast and human form settings. With beast form, hostile NPCs, I've turned this off. So that means that just by me transforming as a werewolf, people are not going to freak out. With this turned to non-hostile, the guards still don't like you to be transforming to a werewolf in their city. They'll get upset with you and they'll charge you fines. That just happened to me in Whiterun. So I had to go pay like $2,000 in fines. It's irritating. Beast form duration, I really don't change that, because one of the benefits of having this mod, you can transform into a werewolf as much as you want to. Loot. This is essential. Being able to loot and check inventory as a werewolf means that I do not have to be switching out. Transformation settings. This is helpful. Fearsome transformation. So as you level, right now this character is probably like 16th or 17th level. Low level characters are gonna run away. I did the Sadia Iman quest as a werewolf. All went through that dungeon in werewolf form exclusively, and it was because of fearsome transformation and the werewolf growl. I kept growling at the red guard armor at the end. They would run away. I would kill one guy. When they run back, I was able to do crowd control that way. Now, healing during transformations. I have this set for medium. I would recommend, if you're going to be doing transformations during combat, moving it up to fast. Because depending on your system, the transformation can take time. As you can see, there's a lot that you can adjust your werewolf play with Werewolf Mastery. Alright, we already looked at this. Oops, sorry, I hit the wrong button. I really haven't played with that. Hostile wolves. I would recommend, if you use this, observe how vampires treat you. I typically run with a lot of mods, so it might have been something else in my load order. But when I turned off, made the wolves non-hostile and the werewolves, it made the vampires non-hostile. So during the companions quest, I had a mod that made the Silverhand vampires. They were just cool with me being there as a werewolf. So I actually turned this off so they would attack me. Weakness of silver. I do play with some weakness of silver. It just goes according to werewolf lore. This is not problematic in either form. Although right now, again, my werewolf is probably a little bit more squishy than the druidic form. Rested bonuses, that was always like a pain. Because of your beast, you do not get rested bonuses. Since it's not really affecting the progression that much, I'm not being crippled during gameplay, I keep that off. But if you want to get the plus 20% skill increases, you can turn that on with this mod. Now, Werewolf Mastery and Moonlight Tells are compatible. You would need to download the compatible version of Moonlight Tells in order to keep both. The authors included specific instructions on how to do that. Alright, let's see. Now we're going to be moving toward the Drunken Bee before I transform. But let me just get ready so that I can transform, just in case something interesting happens along the way. Now you will next see this character when I do Forgotten Magic Redone, the Druid. The next thing that we'll be looking at while I'm still in human form would be a mod that on the surface really doesn't have much relationship to werewolves. That would be gophers pumping iron. Alright, apologize for the save in the middle of the video, but I kind of paranoid about that. Okay, mod configuration, we're going to go down and look at pumping iron. Now, what this mod does, as your character goes about on their adventure, if they're going mining, if they're using weapons, two-handed weapons, if they're wearing heavy armor, all of that will reflect a change in their body. You know, it's like them going to, if there was a gym in Skyrim, it's like them working out. So now, the author has created like behind-the-scene algorithms that measure and calculate the impact of that. And so you see the character's body weight improves. Now, her current training, she's at 3.92. In order to transfer this into body mass, she has to sleep. So just, you know, this mod encourages you to get your character to have to rest. And the benefit of resting is that you would see the body bulk up. It is more noticeable on a male character than a female character in human form. However, when I turn to werewolf form, which I think I might do now, and just because human form does move kind of slow. Okay, I also have realistic needs installed, and that was just my notification that my character could use a nap. However, we will not be oh, she's also hungry. Now, even though realistic needs is not going to be covered in this, it does correlate. You know, if you eat people in werewolf form, you typically will not be hungry when you turn back. However, since this is our target coming up, let us see how long does it take me to transform, because those red dots, they're getting ready to come out. Okay. Mighty Beast, a werewolf, is what you see here. Because she looks kind of scrawny as a werewolf. That is because of the relationship with pumping iron. You can definitely tell that she's a female werewolf. But you can see that, you know, as she grows up and she like does more working out, mining, wielding heavy weapons, wearing armor, she'll grow in size as a werewolf. Now, when you install Mighty Beast Werewolf by AA99, you have the option of going with a standard form or with a bodybuilder form. That's for players that really want to have Arnold Schwarzenegger to go about. I mean, it is really a noticeable difference. Now, before we go and take care of these people and hopefully not die, let me show you part 2 of the, you know, all these mods make my playthrough nice, but if you only have to select 2, I would go with Werewolf Mastery and Moonlight Tells. Now, this music that you hear in the background, that is part of Moonlight Tells. Now, with Moonlight Tells, it allows you to customize the appearance of your werewolf. Right now, I am set to use the vanilla by Bethesda because that is modified by AI99's Mighty Beast Werewolf. That way you can kind of see the effects of pumping iron. Now, Moonlight Tells is by Brevi, B-R-E-V-I, and AI99. it allows you to customize the appearance of your werewolf. Right now, I'm kind of going with black, brown fur, and green eyes, whole Drew thing. But you can see there are many options with that. With the Dragonborn DLC, you gain the option to gain the blood of the bear and transfer into a werebear. Werebears are no joke. They kind of hit really hard. And one thing I like about this, when you encounter them, they scale with your character. Now, you can set, what level you have werewolves and hunters. So you can adjust that to match with your gameplay. Now, disease tracker, people that you fight and manage to get away, or you choose not to kill them. This will let you be able to see their transformation rate. Now, this is the affection rate. Again, people that you fight and somehow they survive or attack, you'll be able to see them and they would move. You'll know, this will let you know to see when they become a full werewolf. Now, prior to this recording, somehow a Whiterun guard had got infected. And so lo and behold, yesterday when I went to Whiterun, I was tracked by a random NPC werewolf who transformed once I got inside the gates. Another reason why fast travel might be avoided. So he transformed, and then a Whiterun guard transformed into a werewolf. The werewolf Whiterun guard killed the NPC werewolf. The other Whiterun guards did not attack him, but the other NPCs in Whiterun said, "You're a werewolf, you must die." And so you had the two NPC factions fighting within the city. Nobody showed up red for me, so I just kind of said, "Oh, I have no idea. I do not want to get in trouble." So I just kind of took a back seat. Unfortunately, during that combat, Avinici, the steward's daughter, that's the blacksmith for Whiterun, she gets killed. I got her inheritance on her. So by running Moonlight Tells, it will dramatically change your gameplay, because in all of my times of playing Skyrim, that was the first time that I've seen anything like that. Now, one thing that I find really cool about this mod is that you have the option of having hunters. You can increase the spawn chance, and even though that says 2%, it's much higher than that, and it shows up on all of my characters. It would be like the vigilance of Stendarr. And unless I'm a vampire, they'll just say like howdy do, or sometimes help out. They have a tendency of liking to show up when you transition inside of a place. Like I can walk inside of like the Jarl's Hall. Boom. They're there, their attack. Unless I accidentally hit the guards are just going to stand back, or if I move back further enough, the guards will actually move to defend me. Now, when I review the vampires, with that, the mods that I use for that, you can actually increase the number of hunters. With this, you only have like the standard set of 2, Vigilance of Stendarr. Now, if you kill enough of them, they will actually take out a contract on you, and then you have like the Dark Brotherhood making hits against you. Now, this is where you need the Ring of Hersey, because with that, you can tweak this section. Since right now I don't have the ring on this character, I just kind of like, deal it when it's a full moon. I try not to be in town. It just flashes. The moon is full tonight. Caught me off guard last night in the barn Whiterun. Saw that flash, because when you begin to transform, the screen like goes dark and then flashes back bright, dark then bright. And so that's giving you a heads up that you, if you're in some place that you don't want to transform into a werewolf, you need to get out of Dodge. So I left the inn, made it to the gates, and I was running out of the gates when I finally transformed. That's why right now I have like a $2,000 bounty with Right One, because the guards, I didn't hit any of the guards, I didn't attack them, I just kept running, even though they chased me for a long way outside of the town. Yeah, I'll be paying them the money. This character is really wealthy, so I'm not really concerned about it. But it just makes it more immersive to be a werewolf. I like that random transformation. I like being able to transform when I want to, but this is a disease. You should have some consequences for it. So now that was Moonlight Tells of Mighty Beast. Now, Rowland has also done Predator Vision, which I'm turning on now. You see that see your lunch shows up, so you can see exactly. I mentioned before, I now have the option to either feed them or search them, which it's not recommended to do this in combat, but since and I hate when people disturb my meal, but this allows me to, I can see their heat through the wall. I just love the smack talking of these people. Now, after I secure the area, I'm gonna go back through and eat everybody, but
It'll be so much easier to rob when you're dead.
you know, I thought there was gonna be more of them. That's kind of disappointing. I don't want y'all to get to see this stuff, you know. Although there are mods for, well, tweaks for Predator Vision, the default only works for werewolves when you switch to werewolf form. Let me just get that guy up there real quick, and then I will show you my perk tree for werewolf, which I am using Werewolf Perks Expanded, the Dawn Guard Edition, and that mod is by Michael Dusk. Okay, now. Oh, sorry, I went the wrong way. You hit the tab button when you're in werewolf form. That brings up this menu here. Now, you can see the benefits of having Werewolf Mastery, because I have respectable power as a werewolf. And compared with the normal game, you know, you have a whole detailed tree. I have not unlocked that yet. This is what I always try to unlock relatively early, because then I can eat people, you know, I can eat animals and stuff as well, and still advance somewhat during the perk tree. Now, as you get higher levels into the tree, the benefits will also carry over to your human form. For example, Beast Nature. I have Full Moon Rising. so that on nights with a full moon, I'm tougher even in uniform. Satiated beast. That's how come I'm not so worried about the rested bonus. Now, of course, some of these, oh, don't like noises when I'm in form. I don't see anybody with my predator vision. It could have been just a random noise. But, you know, this is kind of like a horror movie. When I hear noises, but I don't see any more prey on the outside. Alright, let me show you predator vision. Because if you know, you're like, okay, I'm a werewolf, I should have this ability as a human as well. You can tweak it, and then you can adjust the setting for your predator vision. I don't really use the night vision a whole lot. It's just kind of stylistic. If I have to, you know, to choose between the two, I just really want to see what's out there, just so I can, you know, govern myself accordingly. And again, Predator Vision is by Gopher. Pumping Iron Dynamic Muscle is also by Gopher. Mighty Beast Werewolf is by AI99. Moonlight Tells Werewolf and Werebear Overhaul, Brevian AI99. Werewolf Mastery, Sir Rowland. And Werewolf Perks Expanded for Dawnguard is by Michael Dusk. Okay. Now I'm just going to do the go inside. And probably immediately after I stop recording, that's when I'll run into some of the Stunters Vigilant. But these are some mods that can make your next Skyrim playthrough more interesting if you really want to become a werewolf. If you want me to advance, you know, just a show of what the werebear side of it would be, because honestly that's not something that I've done. I've fought against the werebears, and that, right, you know how werewolves have this knockback attack? They hit you with their claws and you go flying back. Werebears can do that as well. It's just really cool. It makes them feel like a worthwhile opponent. You know, dragons still rule the game, but with these mods, it makes werewolf form something that you can play on up into the 50s and 60th level and beyond. Whereas with the vanilla game, it was just something that you did when you were in a completely safe environment. Here, as you can see, I can take out standard foes as a werewolf without sweating it. Alright, have a great day and see you next time on YouTube.